How does easement by necessity impact property? Imagine owning a beautiful piece of land, but there's no way to reach it without crossing someone else's property. That situation can happen when a property becomes landlocked. An easement by necessity is a legal right that allows a property owner to use part of a neighbor's land to access their own landlocked property. This usually occurs when a larger property is divided, and the new parcel has no direct access to a road or utilities. When an easement by necessity is granted, it gives the owner of the landlocked property the legal right to cross the neighboring land to reach a public road or essential services. This easement is not a permanent fixture. It exists only as long as the necessity exists. If the owner finds an alternative route or if the landlocked property is no longer landlocked, the easement can be ended. To establish this type of easement, certain conditions must be met. Both properties must have been owned by the same person or entity at some point. It must be proven that there is no other reasonable way to access the property. The easement path should be practical and as unobtrusive as possible to minimize impact on the neighboring land. The owner of the neighboring land, known as the servient estate, must allow the crossing but only to the extent necessary. The easement should be limited in scope, so it does not impose a heavy burden on the neighbor's property. This means the crossing should be kept to a reasonable size and usage. Common mistakes happen when property owners do not recognize the need for an easement early. If they subdivide land without arranging access rights, disputes can arise later. Another mistake is assuming the easement is permanent, even when the necessity no longer exists. Owners also often fail to clearly define the easement route, leading to disagreements. It's important to understand that easements by necessity are only valid if the properties were once owned by the same person. If someone tries to claim such an easement without this history, it may not hold up legally. To avoid problems, property owners should research titles thoroughly before buying or dividing land. Consulting legal professionals to draft clear easement agreements is also a smart move. In the end, knowing how easements by necessity work helps prevent costly disputes. Proper planning and clear agreements ensure that property owners can access their land without unnecessary conflicts. This legal tool is designed to protect landowners and keep property functioning smoothly, even in tricky situations.